In this presentation, we would like to talk about how Walt Disney transformed digitally. First of all, our digital business definition is as follows. Digital business mainly is used in the context of digital transformation and disruptive technologies. It is the creation of new business designs by integrating machine learning, big data, Internet of Things, etc. This change occurs affects the value proposition of existing goods and services providing completely different consumer experience and accelerate decision makings. From the top 100 most admired companies, we focused on two sectors to find what is the characteristics of being a digital business. In the consumer product sector, by looking at the top and the bottom two companies in consumer products, we see that there is no link between digital business and being the most admired companies, as now nearly most of the companies are investing in digital area in one way or another. In general, in consumer product sector, most of the companies are digital business in terms of the use of big data. In the media and entertainment sector, there is a difference between the top companies and the bottom. We can see that Walt Disney and Marriott International are investing heavily in digital and big data to provide unique consumer experience. However, we cannot find evidence of technology investments in bottom companies such as Viacom and Wine Resort. One interesting fact that we found during our research is that USAA is letting its members log into mobile banking using facial and voice recognition. This makes USAA the first major US financial institution to deploy a full-scale rollout of voice and facial recognition, which can be a turning point of the whole industry. With this technology, USAA is committed to make members' transactions as secure as possible, while traditional passwords become increasingly obsolete. So Walt Disney focuses on 4 different areas: consumer products to produce toys, books, fine arts, studio network, which includes broadcast and radio, parks and resort, which is the famous Disneyland, and media networks producing movies and music. Even though Walt Disney is well known for their movies and most of the value of their brand is coming from studio network, the main revenue is actually coming from parks and resorts and media networks. So that is the reason why we focus on these two sectors in the following. So how is Walt Disney a digital business? In 2014, Disneyland launched its smart wristband called Magic Band. It can be used as hotel room keys, credit card, quick pass keys, etc. A gimmick feature is Disney asks for the birthday of the person who will be wearing it. So if a kid is having a birthday in the park and there's a character nearby, that character can be notified and wish them a happy birthday. But let's think about a little bit deeper with the data. The wristband can track everything you do, everything you buy and eat, everything you ride, and everywhere you go in the park. If the goal is to keep you in the park longer so you'll spend more money, it can build models, for instance, how cash expenditure is influenced by the length of stay. For example, a model realized that there is a long queue under one ride. A character can be notified and make their ways over to the children and entertain them before they get on the ride. Walt Disney Company reported that domestic park attendance rose 7%. The occupancy at Disney Resort hotels also jumped 8%, and that overall in the fiscal year, the income from theme parks and resorts have increased by 20%. For the media network sector, remember that out of Walt Disney's total revenue, $4,813,000,000 in 2014, nearly 50% were generated by their media network segment, which includes giants ABC, the Disney Channel, and ESPN, with ESPN being the biggest component of the media network. So how is Disney applying digital business ideas in this sector? ESPN is a sports channel, streaming sports content live over 18 hours per day to over 98 million households in the US. This opens up massive capabilities for real-time analysts. This opens up massive capabilities for real-time analysis of viewers and potential big data optimization. Yet according to ESPN's prime data analysts, the company has no intention to go into real-time analysis and prediction of actual games, but rather use their data masses to optimize the customer experience by adapting the content on their channels in real time. In similar fashion, the company has replaced over 1.1 miles of copper wiring in their digital center by fiber cable in order to be ready for the steep increase in data masses. Another application is rooted in Disney's digital expertise with high-level graphics. With at peak times over 100 simultaneous streams, ESPN is increasingly reliant on software automizing the editing process. This is a trend observable in their research, as they have published various papers that deal with computer recognition of sport games and corresponding automated graphical analysis, such as arrows or lines being added to the footage for better viewing experience. For the studio entertainment sector, the ways to use digital technology still focuses around the first step in their value creation chain, to make super high quality animation films that will form lasting brand bonds with consumers. This is especially important as nearly all other segments of digital Disney business rely on these strong brands. The main ways in which this is done is through ever more sophisticated to help Disney crafts their movie as close to perfect, which is what has always given them the strong support from their fans that lets the business thrive. An example of this is the application of an algorithm in Disney's Frozen, which coded every single snowflake that appears in the movie differently to make the movie and its effects as visually appealing as humanly possible. For the theme park sector, Walt Disney faces a variety of challenges. One obvious challenge is the data security. People are worrying that it is another NSA-style tracking devices, which not only keep people longer in the park, but also acquiring personal data such as living address, room number, credit card details, etc. In Disney's annual report, the company itself is also stating that the electronic data is subject to the risk of interruption, tampering, and theft. These problems cannot be eliminated entirely, no matter how much effort Disney invests in. Moving on to the media and entertainment sector, the challenge we have is the decline in TV advertising. People are moving to online streaming services like Netflix or YouTube. They shift from a linear broadcast on TV to a multi-screen experience. Therefore, TV ads will no longer have sufficient audience reach. In result, Disney's sports channel ESPN's advertising revenues fell 3% due to lower program ratings. So even ESPN's advertising revenue is declining, their main competitor CBS experienced an increase in their advertising revenue. We figure out that CBS is currently partnered with Nielsen to become the first network broadcaster to include digital audience measurement, which determine what a show's audience is and in turn inform the prices that networks charge advertisers for those spots. The traditional measurement that Walt Disney is using only focus on the television area. However, nowadays more and more consumers view content on digital device. ESPN's 2014 World Cup ratings averaged 4.6 million viewers on ESPN and ABC, while the digital stream was viewed by 150 million. Television remains the biggest medium for advertisement. However, it is expected to drop from 40% to 37% by 2017, led by ad spending in other platforms, and digital ads has an annual growth of 18%. The opportunity Disney has is to move into digital ads, as TV and online advertising is forecast to merge by 2020. Disney can acquire ad tech firms to develop audience tracking capabilities and metadata, because in 10 years' time, ads will be personalized and there will be ad decision system which will decide on the right ad at any given point in time to address streaming. To get a feel for how Disney and its competitors are preparing for the future, we have prepared a visual representation of all the patents Disney, Comcast, and CBS have filed in the last 3 years. If we color the most recent filings in warmer color, we get a heat map of inventions. What is striking here is that only a handful of clusters have been innovated in majority, such as TV distribution tech, customer data analysis, and AR. But who are the big players in these areas? As it turns out, by coloring the patents by company, blue is Disney, yellow is Comcast, and red is CBS, it turns out that while Disney is holding the majority of the patents, the most recent development has been going on among competition. Comcast has heavily increased their TV distribution technology, as in streaming and delivering TV content to households, while Disney has been focusing more on graphics and RFID, such as the Magic Band, and AR, which is further theme park applications development. This suggests that Disney is investing in their ability to create strong brands in their movies and deliver memorable experience in their theme parks. The concern here is that Disney's highest revenue sector is its media segment, which doesn't directly benefit from strong movie brands. Our concern is therefore that while strengthening its brand, Disney might not be focusing on their biggest business unit enough and should maybe reconsider what it considers its core business to be.